Hey guys, I'm Ricky Havoc, and welcome to Loose Nuts Off-Road. Today, we're going to be talking about the winch I chose to put on the front of my 2007 Toyota FJ Cruiser. After a few months of deciding, going back and forth of what brand, I was looking at, some of the Amazon brands, some of the four-wheel parts and off-road warehouse brands, and some of the Harbor Freight brands. Last night, I had actually ordered one off Amazon, and I looked at the reviews. A really close friend of mine has this same winch that's on the front of his car, and after he's had a great experience with it. Some of the reviews were questionable though, so I wanted to do this one and done. So after going back and forth, and I really wanted a synthetic line winch instead of steel cable, save some weight. I finally settled on one. I returned the one that I ordered on Amazon. I didn't even get it. They pulled the money out of my account, hadn't even shipped it yet, and I returned it. The reviews were terrible. Customer service reviews were extremely bad. But before I get into that brand name, I want to show you guys what I chose. So here's the reveal. Yep, I went with the Harbor Freight Badlands ZXR winch, 12,000 pound steel cable. But I also got the Hawse fair lead and I got synthetic line. I did this, so the brand I returned right off the bat was the X-Bull 12,000 pound winch with synthetic line, and it came with 2 wireless remotes. And it sounds amazing for the price point. I think it was like, because I wanted the black one, not the orange one, it was like $330 or $360, which was an awesome deal. But going through the reviews and the customer service aspect of it, and really diving into the reviews, because they only had like 196 reviews on it. I had seen, because they ship them. I mean, almost all winches are made in China. I know the higher end Warrens are made in Oregon, but that's way out of my budget. If you got a damaged product or if something went wrong, they would take a couple weeks to get back to you. Some guys had really good experiences, like some guy snapped his cable and they sent him a brand new cable. They have a 1-year warranty on that X-Bull winch, and a guy had hit one on a tow truck that he had ran into issues, and it was just outside that 1-year warranty, which is understandable on X-Bull's part. I can't fault them for it, but they said if he ordered another one, a whole another one, another $330 or $360, they would send him a $10 gift card. That's just not the customer service I want to see. You know what I mean? And if it's already hard enough to get a hold of anybody, if it's hard enough to, It's a roll of the dice, and I didn't want to roll those dice because this is just precautionary. It's not, I'm new to where I am. I moved to Tennessee and I swapped out my front bumper because I knew I was moving to Tennessee, and I knew I was going to be getting into mud. I knew I was going to be getting into trees, and I knew having a pre-runner style bumper would not work. So then came time for a winch, because I'm not going to go wheeling till I get one. So now I got one. The reason I went with the Badlands, 12,000 pounds should be perfect. It's double the weight, a little extra, and it's fine. And I got this in a store, bought it person to person. I'm good with it. Now, there's been a few write-ups in this in four-wheel drive magazines. It's been tested in field. It's been around a long time. So, getting down to price, we'll also be opening this a little later. Okay, so this winch retails at $399. I looked up at harborfreight.com. I found a $100 off coupon for this. So I got this winch for $299, ready to rock with the steel cable, which is a pretty good deal. Reputable brand, people have used and abused them. I can trust it. I feel better about my purchase. And that's all that matters in the end, is how you feel with what products you put on your vehicle. This was $299 today. I got this with a coupon, $299. And then the synthetic rope was an additional $139, plus the fair lead that I have up here. You can't really see. That fair lead was about $35 or $39. I also had I did two separate transactions. I had an additional coupon for 20% off one single item, so I did the 20% off on that, and then I got the fair lead, which all in all I spent $160 more. So yeah, Badlands ZXR 12,000 pound winch with the Badlands 80 feet of synthetic rope, and then I got the Hawse fair lead, and I also got a Smittybilt winch shackle. What's up, guys? I just wanted to touch base with you on this Badlands 12,000 pound ARB winch install. I went ahead and dropped my bumper, and I wound up fighting this winch pretty much the whole way, and I'm going to explain and kind of show you guys why. First off, let's talk about the box, the gearbox. On the Badlands, this bumper was designed for a Warren winch, an old school Warren winch. So it has a little mounting bracket right here with two holes. Well, the Badlands winch gearbox comes with 4 mounting points. So my solution to that was I went to Home Depot and I got a galvanized electrical cover, and I drilled out the 4 holes, 6 holes total. I drilled out the 4 holes for the box, because I didn't want to go through the box. It didn't need any more holes than it already has, and I put the bolts in the middle to line up to go through the bracket. So I got the bumper off. I got it inside. I got it laying down flat, and I went to go install the bolts with the square nuts. Now the bolts were too short. So I had to go out to Lowe's and I bought some grade A bolts, and I pushed those through, and those wound up working. So that was my solution of getting the winch bolted to the bumper. Now when I got to running the leads into the winch, the negative that mounts on top, you have 3. I'll show you guys in a minute. You have a negative, a positive, and I believe a ground, 2 grounds. Please forgive me, I'm not being accurate right now. But the ground, or the black cable, the one with the black covering, was too short. So thankfully, with the ARB install kit, it came with cables to run from the gearbox out. So I only swapped out the one, and I made the positive cable work, which is from gearbox to winch. Not the main battery lines, but from gearbox to winch. So I got all those cables done. I got that mounted, and then I know a lot of guys are talking about the plate, like the Hawse fairly doesn't fit in here, and it doesn't. It was made for a steel cable winch line. So ARB actually sells a spacer kit, which is like $100, and I believe the part number is 3500 or 3560 or something like that. I'll leave that in the description. So that came. When I called ARB to try and find one. They had 2 in a warehouse in Florida. I wound up finding this one on Amazon. So I got lucky. Now I installed the Badlands Hawse fair lead with it. Now I had a couple issues with the Hawse fair lead. It was too wide to fit in between here. So my solution to that was I got a flat disc and I ground off about 1/8 of an inch on both sides. And then after that it was just kind of grind till it fits. Now after that, the bolts that ARB provides with the extension kit, because you can't use the bolts that came with the Hawse fair lead at this point because there's a little piece of aluminum behind here that actually brings out this fair lead. Those are wider than the ARB bolts. Now going back to the ARB bolts once again are too short. So what wound up happening is I said I used 4 bolts from Lowe's. That's incorrect. I used 2 spare bolts that I had that were the same size from the ARB winch and from the ARB bumper install for the bottom, and then the top have the stainless steel grade 8s, and then the other 2 I wound up using because they were slightly longer are these grade 8 stainless steel bolts through the front. But there are a couple of problems you have to overcome doing this install. I'm just waiting to now mount this. It's all ready to rock. I just need to mount it back to the car, but I wanted to stop and tell you guys there are a few things you're going to fight, and my last thing I think I'm going to wind up fighting is the clutch handle on the winch itself, and I might take that off before doing the install. But we'll kind of see how that goes, and I will pop the video back on whenever we get to that point. But as of right now, winch is mounted, the fair lead is mounted, we're wired, and we're ready to rock. Alright guys, we got the Badland winch on and it's been set. My only complaint so far, because this thing worked great, obviously it was just pulling myself to a tree right now, but the only thing I do not like is that clutch handle. That clutch handle is extremely hard to move. But other than that, it's been great. Kind of a pain to fit, but I recommend it so far. As soon as I pull somebody out or pull myself out, I'll keep you guys posted. And then I'll give a 1-year review. Hopefully this thing works after a year. But thank you. Please like, subscribe, and hope to see you soon.